An American vacation plan from a European. They plan to arrive in New York early morning. Then, of course, it's only an hour drive to Miami. Then a quick 2-hour drive to Las Vegas. Then a flight back home from Los Angeles, which will only be like a night thing. Don't you love being able to see all the US in just a single day? Love how small this country is. It's a little out of the way, but Iowa has a lot of corn. I can't stress this enough. Imagine vacationing to the US and not visiting the great state of Iowa. There's just so much there. Can't count how many fun things there are to do in Iowa. And Idaho has potatoes. They both start with the letter I, but very different crops. Hehe. Miami to Las Vegas in 2 hours? Are you taking the scenic route? It does specifically say drive. He's not taking one of our numerous high-speed rail systems that go from Miami to Las Vegas. Everyone knows how fast our rail system is in America. Imagine not having great public transit in our country. Crazy. Hello, I'll be spending the evening in New York City. Where should I go for 3 hours to experience most of the city? Thanks. Doing drugs in the subway is fairly authentic. Warning, I'm a European, and when we tried Mexican food when we were in the States, the force of the flavor in the Mexican cooking killed 2 out of 4 in my friend group instantly. I knew someone was also going to mention this. But what a normie traveler. He's not even going to try to fit in a quick trip to Alaska or Hawaii for that matter. If the nation of Canada has a housing crisis, why don't they just build more houses right here? Those silly old Canadians, they're not using like 98% of the actual land they have up there. No wonder this dude had to resign. What was their leader thinking? It's pretty funny because it's almost as if all Canadians live pretty much directly by the US's border. Why would they do that? It can't be that cold, can it? In reality, Canada doesn't own this land. The polar bears eat anyone who enter. Oh! The embarrassed Canadians lie to the rest of the world to cover up their shame. Also because they can't get housing permits from the moose. Where else is Canada supposed to store their wildlife? Also because that area is actually only slightly larger than a standard doubles tennis court. It only looks big because of the projection. Definitely don't get confused by facts and logic that say that Canada is the second largest country on Earth. No, there's no way. This red circle is actually the size of my backyard, basically. Imagine living in Texas, and meanwhile, there's a war going on in Michigan. One of those maps that certainly puts a lot of things into perspective. Imagine living in Florida, and the state of Arkansas supports the war going on in Michigan. That's being waged by the northeastern states. Really makes you think. Detroit moment. Detroit is right on curse. This meme was supposed to be satire, but I forgot that there already is a war going on in the US. Imagine people living in Nebraska. Lol, how insane would that be? Yes, my favorite place on Earth, Rhode Island, Kazakhstan. Also war in Florida. Measurement systems in each country. In green, the countries that use metric. In orange, the countries that use imperial. And finally in purple, liars that say they use metric, but actually use imperial. I wonder why exactly they chose to go about this route. Maybe they just wanted to be seen as a little bit differently here on this map, I guess. Canada is also in the purple category. It's certainly not complicated at all up there, the system they chose to use. It's totally not like they're just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between all the systems. Ireland uses metric, but pints for alcohol, feet for person's height, inches for man, stones for person's weight, square footage for area floors buildings. I've been noticing this more and more. A lot of the measurement systems nowadays are becoming more and more intertwined, at least in the English-speaking world. Question? Why did nobody make a continent right here? I mean, there's a continent there. There's a continent there. It's like God forgot to draw on the other side of the marble, too. It's like when you take a test in school and you don't realize there's a back side of the page. You're just like, fuck! I mean, in defense, I probably would have forgot to draw a continent back this way too, to be honest. There used to be a continent there, bro. Where do you think the moon came from? Google Mew. Why do I know this? It's essentially just a giant fantasy New Guinea in between all the continents of the Pacific Ocean. It's a space reserved for DLC somewhere in the future. Let them cook. How does the nation of North Korea deal with mob spawns? Clearly South Korea is not doing that great of a job, but North Korea is killing it. They must have an amazing system over here. Another dub for Kim Jong-un. They're the ultimate Minecrafters. They just dig underground and cover the top with dirt blocks. They're not stupid. Oh, why didn't I think of that? North Korea is super advanced. They limit their night lights to avoid light pollution so their astronomers can track their interstellar spaceships. There are no spaceships in Minecraft. Come again? Looks like North Korea is extremely environmentally friendly. Poland was not yet discovered when Windows XP was released in 2001. I guess we still had that terra incognita over it. Unknown or unexplored territory. Crazy that Microsoft basically just said this. Not even Bill Gates wanted to check if Poland was actually real. So much changed after the year 2001. War on Terror and the discovery of Poland. Jesus. At least they included New Zealand and this land bridge between the two. It's really too bad sea level rise had to destroy this. You used to be able to walk to Turkey from Cyprus. It's all Greenland? Finally, the only correct way to divide Europe. Now, to be fair, by definition standards, this is where the European continent lies. And again, taking into account that we live on a globe, not a flat map, we have to put the middle X on somewhere in Belarus. Everyone knows that's the center of Europe. So everything south of of that is considered Southern Europe. Everything west of Belarus is considered Western Europe. Here's apparently the north, and then mainly it's just Russia and Kazakhstan that is the east. Honestly, this is not terrible. I might cast my vote for this one. New country joined Europe, Uzbekistan, and another one left it, Iceland. Yes, Minsk, the cultural, political, and economic center of Europe. That's what I was saying. Afghanistan is my favorite Southern European country. Splitting Poland, where have I seen that before? Believe it or not, the population of the red circle is 10,000 times larger than the population of the green circle. More amazing population density maps. And this one is with the moon. So I guess this is just a space-wide phenomenon. How could such a small circle contain 10,000 times more people than this huge area? Actually, it's 10,000 times as large as the green circle. 0 cannot be larger than 0. I thought you were just lying. Then I remembered 10,000 times 0 equals 0. The world divided into regions that produce as much corn as Iowa does. Oh, we were just talking about that state. Among the thousands of things there are to do in Iowa, one of them is to watch corn grow. Literally fascinating stuff. So almost all of the northern part of the African continent needs to be combined to be able to even just compete with Iowa's corn production. Then there's all of Russia and the Middle East. They don't make much corn at all. All of Europe needs to be combined to be able to defeat Iowa's power. Interestingly, they really are the corn hub here, although Missouri and Illinois do a pretty good job just by themselves. You gotta combine almost all the Spanish-speaking parts to make all this corn. Look at combining Oceania, Indonesia, and the southern part of Africa. Oh yeah, don't forget Antarctica. They really don't make a lot of corn down there. It shows why Iowa is such an important state, probably the state you need to visit most if you decide to visit the US. Why would you want to see a place like New York City? Boring. This is the best map that's ever been presented here or anywhere else. I'm indebted to you. Unironically, a great map. Are India and Japan one region or two? Iowa laughs in the face of the empires around it. Our liberties we prize and our right will we remain. I think it underestimates the vast cornfields of Antarctica. Don't you ever make fun of this state ever again. Yes, how I, as an American, would draw European borders. And this is just as American as apple pie, isn't it? Look at those beautiful straight rectangular borders everywhere. The Europeans wish they had this power. Imagine not just drawing lines on a map. To be fair, Europeans like to do this, just not in their own continent. I mean, look what they did in the Middle East. But yeah, why not? Straight borders for all. I like how Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia are casually back. Do you know how many Americans casually support this just because it'd be easier on their geography tests? Not that we take geography tests in the first place, but I mean, that's pretty much why I supported bringing them. Switzerland got turned into a suggestion. Did the former leader of Libya make this map, Gaddafi? What's your beef with Denmark? The Danes don't want to sell them Greenland. I don't even think the plan is to force Denmark to sell Greenland anymore. We're just gonna take it. The United States of America, according to Trump, after he takes office. All the red is now the USA. So of course we have Greenland, and he's really not letting up on the whole 51st state of Canada up here, even after Trudeau resigned up there. He's still going in on this. Now to be fair, I don't know if he's necessarily talked about annexing Mexico. I haven't heard that one. But yeah, he does want to take back the Panama Canal. I'm pretty sure it's just these three, but who knows? And who knows what he's still shopping for? He's still adding things on his Amazon cart list. Only question is, how long is delivery gonna take, you think? A couple years? Canada has red in its flag, therefore it's communist. The logical solution? Nuke 'em. But the US has red as well! Wait, was it all along? When will Liberia be part of the US? They use the imperial system too. It even got liberty in its name. That's a good possibility. This African country even has a similar flag. It's almost like these two places have a connection in history. But yeah, I could see them wanting this next. And frick Puerto Rico, as always. I guess in exchange for all this new land, Puerto Rico, the island, is getting their own independence. The continent of Europe, if sea levels increased 6,429 meters high. Obviously the Dutch, they're the only ones that'd be able to defeat this. Man, what a lovely continent. Something tells me that'd be the only place on Earth, not just in Europe. God made the Earth, but the Dutch made the Netherlands. You just know they'd probably be rocking some look like this. Western cartoons be like, in red, let's go to Africa to see the wilderness. In yellow, let's go to Egypt to see the pyramids. And in green, I like to move it, move it. I mean, how else do you divide this continent? I think Western cartoons do it perfectly. Honestly, name a better PR move for a random geographical spot on the Earth. Kids went from knowing nothing about this place to, well, at least knowing how to sing, I like to move it, move it. Ah yes, all the countries in red here are places where the Prime Minister slapped a kid live on TV. Was that recent? Was it for watching Madagascar? Which was formerly a French colony. It was not Macron, but a former French prime minister who defeated children in a game of dominoes during a visit to school, September 2019. And when he won, he decided to just slap one of them? What a great way to teach the kids not to be a sore loser. This French leader literally said this: "Our former prime minister rugby tackled a child." Reminds me of how our California governor plowed into a kid during a game of basketball. Why are so many world leaders just destroying kids like this? Really makes you wonder. Why do people say the state of Michigan looks like a mitten? The thumb would have to be huge. Yeah, what the heck? Why would you make the small part the 4 fingers and then just a big... This is a dumb metaphor. Who came up with the mitten state? Yes, something like that, the mitten state. Are you suggesting that northern lower Michigan is cancerous growth upon the Detroit metro area? Believe in yourself, like a Romanian textbook. If it's brave enough to call themselves Central Europe, you're brave enough to talk to her. Talk about a bold move. I don't think I can match these levels of boldness. I mean, I can give it a try, but man, Romania, that's impressive. You even threw in Moldova into Central Europe. No wonder Romania gets all the ladies. Also, according to Romanian textbooks, Estonia, Canada, Nordic. You did it, little buddy. Check out makeshift.com if you want to make Estonia into Nordic too. If S means small and L means large, then why is Siberia larger than Iberia, as well as Liberia to top it off? We have too many Iberias. I just now realized that. Why use Siberia? Yeah, we shouldn't have used S. Technically, Siberia should be called Liberia because L large. Also, Iberia really looks more like Piberia. No, S means store and L means Litten. What? It's a common misconception, but you've got the terminology wrong. L is little and S is super massive. Oh, that's right. Excuse me? Why has no one pointed this out to me just yet? Northern Ireland to Wales, to Belgium, to Czechia, to Ukraine, to Kazakhstan, to Mongolia. Why do they all look the same? Sometimes they're shaped like a little bit differently. Maybe they're like getting fatter. He decided to finally go on a diet after he became the Kazakhstan stage, but what is going on? Why did we decide to do this across the entire Eurasian continent? Who's trying to pull this joke, and how long did they think they were going to get away with it? I'm pissed now. Literally evolution of territory. Have you guys noticed that the flag of Cyprus looks awfully similar to the outline of the island itself? What a crazy coincidence this is. Do you think they meant to do that? No, that's insane. Clearly not, because if they were just trying to draw the country's outline, why would they draw all these leaves down here? It must just be the most insane coincidences of all the flag coincidences, and I don't know how many of there are there. Yeah, it's got to be a coincidence, because in reality, this is what Cyprus and their borders actually look like. Man, that's amazing though. Under the ice, Antarctica is still peak RPG world design. They sure don't make them like they used to, huh? Now these companies just draw like a big flat ice sheet and just call it a day. Have fun. I want to go back to the old days though. We should just melt the ice now. Who needs it anyways? And a big old thanks to my patrons. I stole Drew Durnil's Robux and won't return them until he plays Cartwright into Drew Durnil. Alexander the Argentinian Grandpa. I'm back, boys. aPhatNarwhal. Connor, I will literally revive DOOCHBAGGINS. Fredrik doesn't realize Imperial Japan flag is the same as modern Japan flag. NordTyrol, Tambre, the Mexican 760, and ZaneyBoi.